Here we go. Yes, truly. We are definitely, depending on your genetic code, we are made up of these physical catalysts that surround us. We're not separate from them, right? But I've had these thoughts lately of like maybe the origins of that. Like how I always say we believed in them, they believed in us, and it's an exchange like that. And just as much as it is physical and genetics and whatnot, I think it has even more to do with your mind. Because, firm example, nobody I know that I grew up with ever worked with this plant, and we pass it every day. We walk right by it. It was a nuisance most of the time, right? It might as well have been poisonous to us. We treated it like it, you know. People approach these things and see them and they act like a berry fell on their head and they're gonna die. You know, just because these things are capable of doing harm, doesn't mean that there's not more there to them, right? I'm trying to form the words here. Okay, so it depends on how you approach these things, right? And then if you're both open to seeing it eye to eye, then there's no way to uh, get caught up in your fear. And it's almost when you do that, you make things poisonous. You make things more toxic because we are the interaction, the relationship with these things determines the output, no matter what. If you take your medication from the damn pharmacy, there are scenarios and situations and how you carry yourself and what you eat and all these different factors that fluctuate the uh, the potency of that medication, your setting, how much sunlight. You see what I'm saying? There's way more nuance to these things than what people jot down in a book that says, "Oh, this plant is good for this," and that's it. "Oh, this plant is deadly. This plant is toxic." They all have their place. Every plant does. Every plant has their place. It's just we have to remember how to see them in the right light for them to shine, right? And so a lot of this comes down to how do you know? How do we know? If you never sat down and visited with this spirit, how the fuck do you know? Right? It might as well be non existent. And that's a piece of you. So think how much damage that does, right? And to compound on this, how much I think it has to do with your mental and your spirit. Um, I've only ever had reactions to poison oak, poison ivy, like I think now 3 times in my life, my entire life, and I've always been around it. Come in contact with it almost on the daily. But I just got it the other week, pretty good. But the thing was, okay, listen to this. I went to harvest some sassafras that I had been watching for a few years now, and I thought it'd be appropriate timing then to do so. And the first day I did so with only like sticks in my hands. And I like acknowledged all the spirits there, and it was a thing. I made a thing about it. But then I got way too more comfortable, and I came back the next day trying to get more, like a lot more. So I came with like shovels and knives and all that, and I didn't make a thing about it. I didn't acknowledge everybody. I was hands and knees in that soil, digging up poison oak roots and slashing them down, and it was all over. Might have been too the most contact I've ever been, could be, with those urushiol oils, right? That could be a factor also. I don't know. But I noticed on my way home from the second day, I started feeling it. I was like, I know what this feeling is, because sometimes I feel like I come in contact with the urushiol, but I don't have dermatitis. I kind of just feel it internally, like I know that spirit, right? And I could feel it on my way home on the second day, like pretty substantially. And it's like that the only thing that really changed was how I approached the situation, how I took that relationship for granted. You see what I'm saying? It has way more to do with spiritually and metaphysically than people realize. You know, these things feed us because we believed in them. We materialized that in a way. We helped cultivate these lands, and just when we forget these things, everything goes awry and becomes dangerous when instead of being a part of you, instead of being accepted, instead of having honor for these things.